Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to today's Sohbet on this Monday, the 7th of October 2024. I hope you are well wherever you are tuning into this from. And welcome to my office at the University of Birmingham Multi-Faith Chaplaincy. Today, I would like to talk about something which, although people know the story, or a lot of people know the story, certainly Muslims do, but a lot of people seem to miss the point of the story. You see, a lot of Muslims, when we think of Iblis, also known as the Shaitan, or the original Shaitan, or the devil, or Satan in English, a lot of people just think, oh, he's evil. They don't think anything else of Iblis. But Iblis, the devil, existed long before human beings were created. Iblis was in the company of the angels. Not only was Iblis in the company of the angels, but he was among the most highly regarded among them. He was someone who held extremely high position in the sight of God. He wasn't a nobody. He wasn't inherently evil. It's said there's not a place on this earth that Iblis hasn't at some point in the past prayed. Think about that for a moment. How many places have you prayed, or I prayed? Just a bit here and there. But apparently there's not a square of earth on this earth where Iblis has not prayed. So what caused Iblis to be cast out? Someone who was held high, permitted to be among the ranks of the angels. According to the Judeo-Christian tradition, they even regard that he was an angel. We have a difference in our theology to the Jews and the Christians on this point. We believe that he was a jinn, a different kind of creation, more like human beings in the sense that he could make his own decisions. He could obey or disobey God. But the jinn are not inherently evil. The jinn are jinn. I relate to you from this account in the Holy Quran. In Surah 15, Al-Hijr, the rocky valley. And verse 27. As for the jinn, we created them from scorching, smokeless fire. And remember, when your Lord said to the angels, indeed, I'm going to create a human from sounding dry clay, molded from aging dark mud. So when I have portioned him and breathed my spirit into him, then fall down in prostration before him. So the angels prostrated, all of them together. But Iblis did not. He refused to be with those who prostrated. He, Allah, said, O Iblis, what excuse do you have that you are not with those who have prostrated? He, Iblis, said, I cannot be the one to prostrate before a human being whom you have created from dried clay, formed from aging, dried, dark mud. He, Allah, said, get out from here, i.e. paradise, for surely you are accursed. And indeed the curse shall be upon you until the day of judgment. He, Iblis, said, my Lord, Grant me respite till the day they are resurrected. He, Allah, said, you are indeed among those granted respite till the day of the known moment. He, Iblis, said, my Lord, as you have caused me to go astray, I will surely glamorize evil for them on the earth, and I will surely lead them astray. Except for those among them who are your exclusively chosen servants. He, Allah, said, this is a path leading straight to me. Surely you shall have no control over my servants except those deviators who follow you. Now, I'm going to go through this ayah by ayah. As for the jinn, we created them earlier from a scorching, smokeless fire. This means that the jinn are another creation parallel to us, made of another kind of, like we're made of clay and water. They're made of smokeless fire. We literally, we might not realize it, but we eat food. We eat food and our body restructures those molecules that are in the food, repurposes them, and uses either them for energy or takes the proteins from them and uses this to build our bodies. Those foods are either animals that eat plants or they are plants. And plants grow in the earth and are made of the elements, the minerals from the earth. So by definition, we are also made of the elements and the minerals from the earth. And indeed, if we don't get enough of these minerals, we start to become very unhealthy. The jinn are something else. We don't really know what scorching smokeless fire is, scientifically. But maybe, we will be discovered at some point. The angels are understood to be created from light, pure light. So this indicates that the type of being that the jinn are and the angels are and humans are different. And when God said to the angels, indeed, I'm going to create a human from clay, basically, from earth. The angels, they didn't understand this. It doesn't mention that one here, but they didn't understand this. But still, they all prostrated because God, Allah, ordered them to prostrate. They prostrated, they bowed before Adam. But Iblis didn't. He refused to be with those who prostrated. So why did he refuse to prostrate? Probably being Iblis and being someone who knew God, on one hand, he probably found it hard to bow before something that wasn't God. But the other thing was his ego. He'd been around for tens of thousands of years or something. We don't know exactly, but all the accounts relate that he'd been around, whether the Islamic ones or the biblical ones, they relate that he'd been around a very long time. And so he's seen this newcomer on the block and singing and thinking, well, who is he? You just literally created him out of clay and breathed life into him, and you expect me to bow to him? And when Allah, God, asked him why, he said, I cannot be one to prostrate before a human being who you have created from clay, formed from mud. He couldn't bring himself to do that. Even, and this was the point, it wasn't the fact that he wasn't bowing before Adam because he was worshipping Adam, but it was an act that Allah wanted him to do to show his humility and to show his obedience to Allah and recognition of what Allah had created, and that Allah's wisdom and Allah's knowledge is way beyond his. But he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. And he thought he was better than Adam. This was his sin, two sins. One sin was disobeying God. The other one was that he thought he was better than Adam, which is what led to his other sin of disobeying God. It was actually him thinking that he was better than Adam that caused him to disobey God, which led to him being cast out. Think about this. Today, there are many people, many human beings, who think they are better than someone else, whether it be because of their religious beliefs, or the color of their skin, or their nationality, or even their football team. I mean, I'm being a bit facetious there, but literally, there are so many different reasons why people think they are better than other people. Could be their economic status. It could be their level of education. There are so many different reasons that people use as excuses to think that they are better than other people. As soon as you do this, you are committing the sin of Iblis. When Allah asked Iblis to bow before Adam, and he refused because he thought he was better than Adam. If you think you are better than someone else, you are committing the sin of Iblis. If you are committing racism or sexism or anti-Semitism or anti-Muslim hate or anti-religious hate or any of these kind of prejudice discriminations, you are committing the sin of Iblis, because that's literally exactly what he did. And this is what got Iblis cast out of the garden. May Allah guide and protect us all and help us to understand these things. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa barik wa salim. Peace and blessings of God on the Prophet Muhammad. And I wish you all a very good evening if you're in the UK and wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining us today. Your support is much appreciated. And I hope these videos are useful to you. And if there are any other topics that you would like me to talk about or any questions you want to ask, please feel free to put them in the comments below or inbox me. Let me know. And I will tackle these questions in future, inshallah. Have a very good week. And until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May the peace and blessings of God be with you all. Good night.